Om Shanti. Welcome to Masters of Change. We understand that change is the only constant in life. And on a daily basis, our life is subjected to several changes. The day you choose to meditate or take up a spiritual path, there will be another set of new changes that enter in your life. Today we have a special guest with us, Sister Leela from the Philippines. We will hear from her about her journey on this spiritual path, how her meditation experiences have been, what has she gained, what has she lost, and we will try and imbibe those experiences and the learnings from those experiences into our lives. Thank you for being with us today. We welcome you on the show.
Thank you for having me, Priya. I'm very, very happy to be here in this program with a very beautiful title, Masters of Change.
Thank you. Sister Leela, we would like to understand from you, how did you got onto this spiritual path? I'm sure you were busy in your career, ambitious, trying to achieve things in life. Where did the transition came?
Yes, very good question, and how everything began, how my spiritual journey began more than 30 years ago. And that was at a time when I was also seeking for my spiritual path, for the truth. And I remember at a certain point, I was also into integral knowledge. And one of the things that interested me about 3 decades ago was body-mind connection, you know? And I, because at that time I was working in an NGO where I was like the HR specialist, and I was helping the staff in terms of being able to do social development work while maintaining their well-being, and that included understanding body-mind connections. And the seminar that I attended was facilitated by a BK who wrote a book on that topic. And in that training, she was letting us listen to Raj Yoga meditation commentaries. And also, at the time there were cassette tapes on Raj Yoga meditation. So it was the very first time I heard about Raj Yoga meditation. And the ending of that meditation was, she brought us to the Brahma Kumaris main center in Manila. And when I came to the center, I just also found it a little strange, because it was my first time to do this kind of meditation, and we were asked to remove all our shoes before we entered the hall. So that was also a strange practice for me. But one of the, and the topic was a spiritual series on health and spirituality. And so in that training, I bought the book, Raj Yoga New Beginnings. And I brought it home. And because at that time I was studying, about theology in my country, I found the book a little bit new. So I read the book in one sitting, you know, cover to cover, and then I set it aside. But I told myself, I think I'll come back to this Raj Yoga knowledge later. So I just kept it there beside my bed. I mean, you know, one of the books I keep in my bookshelf. And then I think about 2 years later, I needed to come for a training in India.
Okay.
It was my first trip to India for a seminar on Gandhian nonviolence.
Okay.
Okay. And another seminar on psychosynthesis. I remember at the time that was the in thing about all these, understanding the self. And that was my first exposure to people from different religions. And so I asked myself, because I was meeting nuns, I was meeting gurus, those who were coming from different paths, you know, Hindus, etc., and how they could be in one seminar together. So I asked myself, who is the God of all religions? I know the God of my religion, but I know there is a God of all. So I'd like to know that God of all. There was just this wish. And so that was in the 1990s. So I just had this thought, and at the time also, I was needing to know my spiritual path, whether I was going to be a nun or get married or, you know, lead a, as they call it, a single life. Yeah. So that was where I was. And I just thought to discern that, I told myself, I'll go back to this center where I bought this book, Raj Yoga New Beginnings, about almost 3 years ago. I mean, in my mind at that time. You know? So that was, 1991 now. 1988 was my first visit to the meditation center in the Philippines. And so I went back. And I took my Raj Yoga lessons. And at the time, when I took it, after 2 weeks, somehow, I thought, yeah, this is my path. For just some sense that I think this is the path I'd like to take. So, but of course, it was a big leap of faith, I'd call it. And so I said, okay, I'll practice what they say, all the disciplines, the daily meditation practice, the daily class. And if at a certain point I won't be happy anymore, I'm just going to leave this path. So I just said, I just have this sense, this is the path for me. So I'll just follow everything, and if it comes to a point where I'm no longer happy, I'm just going to say goodbye. And that point never came. And so I'm here up to this day.
Wonderful. How did your family, your friends reacted to this new change in you?
Oh, quite surprised. Yeah. Because my father wanted me to be a lawyer, and I was actually about to go to law school already. But then, at the time, I thought, no more law school for me. I think I'd continue this path while working in the NGO where I was. I was invited to live at the center, so I said that serve in the center, and maybe studying, working, and living at center would be so busy. So just work and center would be fine. So even if I was already about to enter, already passed the exams, law exams, and my father, it was the dream of my father for me, and you know, my friend also told me that I topped, you know, like one of at least the top 20 in the exam. So, and the professors whom you know there are already looking forward for you to enter law school. But yeah, I just thought, maybe not a lawyer, but I'd continue to do my NGO work. And so I did that. But choosing also to do consulting work, rather than full-time NGO work, because my full-time NGO work at that time brought me to the communities, and I knew that with my vegetarian diet, I could no longer do as I used to do. So I became more free to do social development work, but doing consulting and training.
Okay. So now you live at the retreat center in Philippines.
Yes.
And alongside, you're also a consultant.
Yes.
Wonderful. So you're playing a double role already.
Yes. And somehow I was also able to, like in the Philippines, there's an open university, and I was able to finish my doctoral degree in communication.
Wonderful.
So that I can be more learned in peace communication, which is the line of work that I also do, teaching about nonviolent communication, and also advocacy communication. So because I have a lot of advocacies in children and youth development, in environment, in peace building. So because of these advocacies, the line of communication became something I pursued, and that has also helped me to do coaching. So right now, what I'm able to do at the retreat center is do remote-based coaching, a coaching consultant with the UN office for project services. So I do that. I'm on call for those trainings, and if there are other trainings locally, I also commit myself to that.
Wonderful. So do you think, coming from a background in peace, you hold a doctoral degree in peace communication?
In communication in general, yeah.
So how would you relate meditation and communication? Do you think meditation helps you communicate better?
Definitely. And even my dissertation for my doctoral degree, I talked about the balance of peace and power.
Okay. Wonderful.
And when I created a framework for that, I talked about power as both inner power and outer power, which included economic, political, social power. And so that was an interesting part of my framework in my dissertation, that the committee of the dissertation panel appreciated so much.
Wow. Wonderful. So lovely to understand all the work that you're doing apart from being a full-time meditator also. Would you tell us a little bit more about how do you teach meditation to other people at the retreat center? Have you come across any students who have really benefited from meditation?
Yes. My service, the seva that I do at the retreat center, has two phases. In 2003, when the retreat center started, I was assigned there, and I stayed there for about 7 years. However, there was a period where my parents both got sick, and I had to go back to our home province, where it's not where I grew up in, but they went there. So for a few years, I served there, and then I also asked permission to open a small center in that city. So I stayed there in that city for maybe another, around 10 years.
Okay.
And then, and that was prior to COVID. Okay. And then worked there as well in one children's NGO as a director until I retired. However, about last year, certain changes happened, and so we had a lack of hands at the retreat center. And so when our national coordinator, Sister Rajni, said, we're lacking hands at the retreat center, and this is what we need, etc. There's a need, especially in the kitchen area, etc. Somehow there was just this thought, would you like me to help? But she smiled because she was looking for someone to coordinate kitchen. And I've always coordinated programs and did programs. And she said, are you sure you want to do that? I said, yeah, it's fine, because I have a little background also on kitchen. So now I'm back at the retreat center.
Okay.
So doing also the challenging task of kitchen, but also when needed, I do programs.
Okay.
And you ask me, how do I teach? I think, firstly, I'd say I teach by example.
Okay.
So for me, anyone I meet at the retreat center, I really greet them with, with love, with peace and happiness, because regardless if, they pursue the Raj Yoga meditation or not, or just take a few minutes with you, at least they already take that experience.
Yeah.
And I'd say that has been the experience of even those, whom I first met in the early 2000s and are coming back now to me, sister, you were the one who taught me the meditation many years back. And I've come back to really take this course more seriously.
Okay.
So I teach that by example, firstly by the vibrations I create in teaching Raj Yoga, and then making it practical, not like rigid with the do's and don'ts, but making them feel that this is the path that is an option for you.
Indeed.
If you want to find happiness in your life, as it was for me. Nothing was forced, everything just flowed, and I've taken on this path because I've taken benefit from it up till now.
Yeah.
So I'd say that's the method I use, which has worked for those I teach meditation.
Have you come across any transformational stories of your students or yourself?
Because of, yes, definitely yes. First, I'd say that they can be transformational stories with a click of a finger, or transformational stories of a long journey. So I'll start first with a transformational journey at the click of a finger.
Yeah.
Remember when COVID came, all that we could do was Zoom meditation online. And I remember giving a meditation online to one group of I think there were educators.
Okay.
But then when we started to wrap up the session and I started to ask for feedback, how this meditation online has helped you, I was touched when one wrote in the chat box, "Thank you so much, sister. I was in the brink of committing suicide because I've lost half of my family because of COVID."
Okay.
But because of this very short course on meditation, I've valued my life more. So that's what I'd call, just with a few minutes of teaching meditation, you can change someone's mind on the value of their life.
Cool.
So that was one story. That the other story, of course they're all the ones you teach meditation to have different stories, but stories of how, for example, there was a time I had to do special counseling in the retreat center because it is a very, very delicate case of rape. And for some reason, I was there, and the NGO we were helping, because these were their staff, just said, can you do something on a spiritual level? Because they're already doing something on the psychological level. So can you do something on the spiritual level? On a parallel level. And in drama, I was there at the time. I was there for a few months at the retreat center, and I did give them a retreat. There were 3 of them, and this was my first experience on how to do that. Of course, with the memories, but I just really let Baba touch me on, how to converse with them, certain art, using the medium of art to release the trauma, some storytelling so that they could release it. And I was very happy that at the end, somehow, they love themselves again, because usually, isn't it? Especially for women, they start to feel, they've lost their dignity. So I had to talk a lot about the soul versus the body. And I felt very happy because Baba made me an instrument. And I know it's not a very easy case to handle, because I remember when I took an international course in peace and conflict resolution in Chulalongkorn in Thailand, I asked the resource person, I said, because she gave us a talk, and I said, how do you handle, how do you heal? Because the topic was about healing. How do you heal those who have undergone rape, especially during war? And she just told me, I'll answer your question later. She didn't answer me in class. So she just said, okay, I'll answer your question. It's a very difficult question to answer. But I'll answer your question outside of class. And she answered me outside, it's not easy, the trauma that they go through in war, when they go through that. So it has been in my mind, it's not very, very easy to heal. But then, going through it myself, having to teach meditation to three Filipino women of my own blood, go through it, and to forgive themselves and to forgive the soul who had to do that. I thank Baba.
So you think meditation changes your perspective, even towards the connection that your mind and body have?
Yes, it makes a lot of difference. Because if you identify with your body a lot, such as the counseling that I did, it's not very easy to heal. But when you start to learn the distinction between soul and body, then you start to say, I'm a soul, and whatever happened to the body is past. Okay, it's still there, but it's past.
I think that's also the case with people who are terminally ill.
True. I'd say that. And that's why, I also had to teach meditation for those who are about to leave their bodies anytime because of cancer. So I'd also do that, I know it's not very easy at this time, but whatever life we have, we value it. And whatever pain the body is going through, the mind can still conquer that aside from the medicines. And then I'd give the example of Daddy Janki and how Daddy Janki would be an example of that. And when I was very young in Gyan, I also did a little experiment on mind over matter. And I remember having just a dental treatment, and the dentist said, this is going to be painful. So do you want some, some injection prior? And then I just said, okay, I'll let you know if I need it or not. And I just really, really just concentrated and became so conscious. And then she just said, okay, it's over. Okay. And then I said, I really didn't feel any pain.
Yeah.
So it's like,
That is a revelation.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
for
you're
me,
able
it was
to-
my own personal experience of, just keep yourself above the body, detach from the body, and you can go over past the pain, physical pain.
Indeed.
So yes, there's really, in these very difficult times, even just teaching about the soul can make a lot of difference versus the body, even just that lesson on the soul.
So how has meditation changed you as a person?
Oh, definitely a lot. Because there will be ego with body consciousness, right?
Yeah.
So I had an ego of my own for whatever attainments I had, talents I had. There was a little bit of identity with those.
Yeah.
The caste, the education, the talents. Until later I realized I'm God's instrument, right? And all of those are just for me to serve God. So now I'm not attaching my identity to any of those, earthly attainments. Not anymore. And so when praise comes, it doesn't hit me. When insult comes, it doesn't also hit me. It doesn't matter, praise or defamation is the same, right? People like you, people don't like you, it's also the same, right? So I am the embodiment of love, so regardless of whether people love you or not, you can even love someone whom you don't know. Yeah, anywhere in the far out in another place, because love is not on the physical level. So love is in the soul level and the vibrational level, and it can reach anyone wherever they are. And also, so that kind of ego. And I think in everyone's life there's a certain deprivation, and or a certain trauma, for whatever, family or whatever. It is also because of soul consciousness that I realized that healing can happen of any trauma, deprivation, if you don't identify yourself with the body of this birth, and say that I've taken on a new spiritual birth in this path. So nothing to prove yourself because of sometimes because of deprivation you prove yourself. Or want something, desire something because of deprivations, right? So if you're deprived of love, you look for love. Deprived of possessions, you look for wealth, right? So I've learned to finish that by not identifying also with the deprivations of this birth. And whatever privileges of this birth that has brought my ego, I let it go.
How wonderfully you've shared your journey with us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you too, Priya.
Thank you.
It was lovely sharing my spiritual journey.
So we heard from Sister Leela from Philippines about the various experiments that she's done with meditation, how she's opened up new opportunities through the door of meditation, and how she's learned to detach her identity and become an instrument for the work of the Almighty. So she continues on this journey, spreading the message of peace, both as work that she does in Philippines and as seva that she does at the retreat center. Thank you so much to all our viewers for being with us. We hope that you will be able to imbibe great learnings from this episode. Om Shanti.